It's time! UFC 265. We're going to have to look at it, aren't we? Let's talk about how good Cyril Gane is. Jeez. Out here looking like George St. Pierre. What the hell? I knew he was good. I knew he had an extensive Muay Thai background and all that good stuff, but I didn't know he was that good. Jeez. Good luck with that, Francis Ngannou. Well, let's take a look, man, at what Chap did so well and what Derek maybe could have done a little bit better. We're going to break it down frame by frame and have a look at some of the more salient points. Let's hop to it. So straight away, 9 seconds into the fight, Cyril's come out and he's taken centre of the octagon, right? Knowing that Derek is a man that fights best going forward. He's not kind of like he's not a classic mixed martial arts guy, right? He doesn't fight very well going back or even on the back foot. And so Cyril's come out and he's made a statement. Okay, so you can see the first key interaction of the fight. So the Black Beast, let me just say this, for a guy that looks how he looks, he clearly doesn't take his diet or nutrition potentially as serious as he should be. But he's still a freak athlete, right? He throws the head kick with absolutely zero tell on it. Okay, so it's blocked. But nevertheless, man, you got to give the Black Beast credit. Now to the salient point of the fight. Take it on a couple frames. So what pops to mind here, make them miss and then make them pay. So Cyril Gane is super intelligent and defensively responsible. But not only is he going to block the high kick with no tell on it, once you slip, he's going to make you pay with the right hook, right? Immense. So Derek with his back against the fence. So Luke Thomas refers to this area as the line of death, right? Anytime you're outside of that octagon circumference, then you're in trouble because you've only got three options, right? You can either move left, right, or forward. You've restricted yourself, and so automatically you've made yourself a bit more predictable, right? Derek needs to get his back off the fence here, I think. The way that Cyril's bouncing up and down, shades of Lyoto Machida for me. That elusive, evasive approach, super on the toes, hands up doing one of these. Let's have a look. Let me move it on a couple of frames. In southpaw stance, and then he's kind of he's doing one of these baiting things with his front hand, right? And then here he goes. Yeah, very reminiscent of Lyoto for me. So as well, another point to note. So similar to the Justin Gaethje Tony Ferguson fight, where Trevor Rittman says, "Take 30% off your punches, mate. You're trying to knock him out with every touch." Cyril comes out and he's just touching him, right? He's just giving him something to think about. Let's keep him thinking. Let's misdirect him. Leg kick here, jab there. He's kind of keeping Derek off. He's giving him something to think about. So again, what's key here is who owns the real estate, right? Derek's got his back to the fence. His movement options are limited, so Cyril can better predict exactly what he's going to do, as if Derek already isn't very predictable. Derek here reminds me, as far as MMA tools, he reminds me a lot of Deontay Wilder. He's got one shot here in that he's going to try and knock you out. There's no subtlety. There's no like skullduggery or misdirection. There's no look over here and then a leg kick comes. He's going to try and race forward and catch you something big and take you out. Cyril knows this, right? It's very predictable. I feel like in 2021, the era of the predictable fighters at high level is I feel like it's coming to an end, you know? Predictable overweight fighters. It's 2021. A guy like Cyril Gane, like he's gonna kill you. Who's just fainting, right? Just keeping Derek at bay, keeping him guessing. You can see Derek's hesitant. He doesn't quite know what to do because he doesn't know what's coming next. And then leg kick. Again, not a serious one. He's not put a lot of sauce on it. He's just giving him a tap, keep him at bay, keep him guessing. Let me get off first, says Cyril. Let's keep him guessing. He gives him another one. Just keep thinking about that, Derek. Then he goes for it again. This time, Derek tries to check / grab. He's just got to deal with so many things. Derek, I feel bad for Derek in this position because he's quite literally multitasking, right? He's spinning plates in this game of very high level problem solving with dire physical consequences. He's got too many. He's got too many things to consider because those are the different looks that Cyril's giving him, right? Cyril again, nice and loose. Leota Machida rest, just jumping back and forth, always on his toes. Derek, in contrast, flat footed, waiting for that one big opportunity when he can cork the H bomb, right? I'm going to pull out this sequence. Again, Cyril goes to the low kick. That's away. But Derek really didn't do much to deal with that one. No checks, no grabbing this time. And he goes again, right? He sees that Derek's not really he's not doing the defensively responsible thing, nor does he have the reactions to deal with that low leg kick. So he goes again, super switched on from the Frenchman here. This here was getting loose. I just want to pull out this piece again because it kind of sheds some light on this material misdirection that I'm talking about. So he does the lateral step just to change the angle on Derek a little bit. Let's see what he does here. Huge feint. Right, so here I think Cyril, I think his plan of action here was to actually deliver that jab, but he's seen that Derek's kind of bitten on it and he's kind of turned it into a feint, right? Derek has no idea which ones do I bite on, do I zig or zag? He's just been given too many looks, right? There are too many facets to Cyril's game here. He's a Swiss army knife of a mixed martial artist. He could do anything, right? Low leg kicks. He's got the Muay Thai. He's got the clinch, which we're going to see a bit later. And then his punches are super crisp, always straight, no tell on any of them. It's a tough out for Derek. And I'd just say as well that probably worth noting that Derek is fighting at home. And in the post fight, he did talk about the pressure of being potentially the biggest fight of his life for a title and fighting at home. It's a lot, right? Now I don't know whether I feel like if these lot fought on Timbuktu, that Gane would win 90 of 100 times, but nevertheless you've got to bake that in. You've kind of got to account for that when you look at Derek's performance on the whole. Okay, so here, big wind up again. Derek takes the bait. Derek must be going loopy in his head. What do I do? Oh, I can't read this fella. He moves like a bantamweight, but he's heavy. What the hell? Who have you ever seen? I suppose you know what that it's reminiscent of Cain Velasquez for me. When Cain in his prime, sea level Cain, when he was in his prime, he used to move like this, right? Always on his toes, crazy kicks with no tail, wicked boxing. Just couldn't read him. You didn't know what he was going to do. Shades of Cyril, and that's high praise, right? Comparing Cyril to sea level Kane. Here the Frenchman goes with another feint. Look at this. Sold it to him. Derek's using all this energy, right? Because he doesn't know when to zig or zag. He doesn't know whether it's a feint or whether it's a real shot that's coming. He's struggling already. Okay, so here we go. So Derek's going to give this a go. He's going to rush and try and land something substantial, right? See how this plans out. He hasn't even got close to him. So what should Derek be doing here? For me, Derek's chasing. What he should be doing is cutting the octagon off. I feel like Derek's. I feel like What Derek's used to is being the quicker guy in there. Although he's okay, so he's got a bit of weight on him. Most of the time, these guys that he's fighting, he's loaded full of fast twitch. So you can do this with Volkov or Blades because you're athletically more gifted than now. But when you get in there against a guy that takes his training as serious as Cyril and is so strategically aware and prepared to execute his game plan, you're going to struggle just rushing him down like that because he's going to see that coming from a mile. There's the jab. Jab, the most underutilized weapon in the MMA. Not so for Cyril. You can see that he's trained that. That's a high level jab, and it's a tool that he keeps using, right? It's a common theme throughout the 3 rounds of the fight. He used the jab to keep Derek guessing, and it's taking a toll, right? He's investing in the future with that jab, and it's going to pay dividends. But then he starts to kind of Tyson up, right? Almost start to do the peekaboo moves. Now, this is what I think we needed to see from Derek if he was to have a chance of victory. He needed to move his head and kind of like find the way in, properly like Tyson up, move in with the head movement. So I think there we see a glimpse of what Derek should be doing. It is just a glimpse, and he abandons that and starts rushing again. And ultimately, Cyril, the Frenchman's going to see he's going to see everything coming again. Okay, so Cyril's backed him up again here, distracted him with the lead hand being right since he's in southpaw. And let's have a look what he does next. Yeah, have a look at this, mate, and take that leg kick whilst you're there. But just a brilliant game plan from Cyril. And then why don't you take this one for good luck as well? Boom! So that one hurt. So that's no longer 80%, right? He's put a bit more sauce onto that one. And you can see the way that Derek's reacted. He's tried to grab it, but the way that he's reacted, I don't think he's looking to take too many more of those. So 2 minutes 17 left in a round. Let's see what Derek can do, what he chooses to rebuttal with. Don't load up, Derek. But this is the only plan that the Black Beast has. Cyril's almost gone before the attack even comes. He's seen it coming from a mile away. Derek has been unsuccessful in closing the distance there, and that's what his whole game is predicated on. Why don't you have that low leg kick for your troubles? What does Derek do again? Same thing. Predictable Lenny Derek. Elu, not good enough. And then on top of that, what are we supposed to be doing here? Cutting off the octagon, Dealey. Not a whiff of it, mate. You've just chased him, and he's made you look a bit silly there, mate. So then another tool. This investing in your future, my coach used to call it. The Muay Thai teep. If you get one of those to your solar plexus, mate, it's a wrap. So he starts utilizing that. And again, come round 3 with a couple of minutes left, you can see that Derek is disenchanted. And the reason why you see that in a fighter's eyes is because of low kicks and teeps. They're cumulative damage, right? They mount up, and ultimately that's what will let you take someone out late on in a fight. Okay, so Derek rushing forward again. Let's see what happens this time. He's done that a couple of times within a couple of minutes, right? And now Cyril, being so high level in mixed martial artists, reads it clean. Look at this. There we go. Oof. Tags him clean with the right hand. Make them miss and make them pay. And clinches to avoid the danger. Floyd Mayweather-esque in his levels of defensive responsibility there. Bouncing. Centre of the octagon again. Cyril's own in the landscape. Let's see this jab. Boom. Okay, so it doesn't land quite flush. But again, giving Derek something else to think about, eh? Okay, Cyril's taking his first risk because he's getting a bit comfortable and he's starting to feel himself. He's looking at his own work. So he's done a bit of a madness here and nearly got caught. So I think Cyril, because Cyril knows that Derek's only got a couple of tools, starts to take this risk. But nevertheless, he's still, even with his back turned, so he knows that it's not like a takedown's coming. It's not like Derek's going to jump on his back and sub him out via rear naked. The likelihood of that happening anyway isn't a high probability. So he takes a bit of his risk. The first one that he's taken of the fight for me. And again, look where we are. So Derek's just allowed him to circle out of danger and take the centre of the octagon again. Being here doesn't lend itself well to Derek winning this fight. He doesn't do his best work on the back foot, nor with his back on the cage. So Cyril's stacking the probability in his favour, right? I'm going to play this portion through. Derek's going to throw pseudo head kick. I think that's intended to be a head kick. It doesn't quite make the mark. Cyril sees it coming from miles away and blocks it as well. I think as so Derek again tries to rush, follows up. Huge miss with the big right hand. Cyril's starting to become Neo in the Matrix, right? He's seeing all the bullets coming and he's kind of blocking them and moving away from them. Starting to feel himself a little bit. And then he retakes the centre of the octagon. Boom. Huge jab. Boom. huge right hand, both from orthodox. So I feel like he's the switching is key. That's not something that Derek took note of. And then he's taking advantage of Derek resetting and taking a bit of a breather. He's taken the centre of the octagon. He's reset, sees that Derek's not really ready for, not ready to counter or get out of the way of these, and he's taking advantage of it. It's just brilliant, brilliant mixed martial arts from the Frenchman. And then whilst you're resting, mate, have a look at this jab. Oh, no, it's not a jab. Look at Derek's hands. Derek is fully anticipating the jab coming over, by which time it's too late to check. He's just a bit of a Rubik's Cube of a mixed martial artist, right? Every time he comes up to you, you don't know what he's going to give you. And that's the beauty of mixed martial arts. High level skullduggery with dire physical consequences. Oh, look, here's the jab. It's not a jab, it's a low kick. Brilliant. And then, so I've just given you the leg kick and you felt that pain. So that's obviously at the forefront of Derek's mind. And then let's have a look what comes next. Boom. Jab to the dome. So again, that's a power jab, right? You can see the way Derek's kind of turtled up. He's felt that one. Just incredible, man. Reminiscent again of George St. Pierre a little bit for me. He was the last guy that, okay, so Max's jab is incredible, but the last brilliant exponent of the jab in mixed martial arts for me was George St. Pierre. And there are shades of this here, right? End of the first round, dominant round for the French fan for me. Blatant 10-9, not even an argument. If any of those judges scored it otherwise, they want to have a word with himself. I feel like Derek's got to go all in at this point, going into round two, but he's knackered and he's taken damage is the issue. So Conor McGregor thesis, he's already lost 10-20% of Derek Lewis in round one. He's not the same guy. He's taken some damage. Again, not massive power punches, but the accumulation of those are going to take a toll on you. Round two. Let's have a look at Cyril's stance. Any one of these guys are on their toes. Look at this. Shades of Lyoto. How many times did we see Lyoto Machida try and throw an oblique kick after bouncing? Shades of Lyoto here, the way he's come out on the bounce. Ready for anything, right? To retreat, to land something if there's opportunity. And then what do we get? Oblique kick. Swiss army knife of a mixed martial artist. He's just giving you so many things that it must be frustrating, it must be maddening even to fight this chap. Good luck, Francis, after this. Giving him one there, and he sees that he hasn't defended it poorly, but it doesn't seem like an attack that he's drilled or trained extensively. So again, Cyril, Swiss army knife of a mixed martial artist. What does he do? Gives him another one. And catches him clean this time, extends the leg a bit. Just a genius, man. He's thinking his way through the fight in the same way as Floyd used to do in through his boxing matches, right? So what does Cyril do after landing the two obliques? Let's have a look. Whilst those are still fresh in your mind, mate. Here we go. Feint to throw one again, right? Let's see if Derek bites, right? He's just very high level. Those feints, you've seen Israel Adesanya and the guys from City Kickboxing and Anderson Silva before him, smashing out those feints. And again, he's just giving his opponent something else to think about. Look at this left hand, Cyril says. Shades of Chuck and Lyoto again. Cyril puts it out there a bit wider this time. Have a look at this. Just so many forms of misdirection and skullduggery. I haven't seen the likes of this for ages, man. It's brilliant. Yeah, keep watching this left hand. Keep watching it, mate. And then what does he do? Is this a double bluff or is something else coming? Remember, he's banked the obliques, and that second one hurt because Derek's leg was hyperextended, and of course, double bluffed him, mate. The thing that you were telling me to look at is what you punched with. Brilliant. Loving it. Distraction tactics again. The old Chuck Liddell hand waving. What does he do this time? Boom. So switches it up again. Just different cadences and different looks every time. Previously he did this and then landed the jab. Now he does this, switches it up, lands a leg kick. Genius. So at this stage, halfway through the second round, you can see in Derek's body language, he's a bit befuddled, isn't he? He's having to work hard. He's biting onto feints. He's not really having much success. And again, they always say that the most tiring punches that you'll ever throw are the ones that miss their target. And he's barely hit Cyril. And Cyril's hitting him. So again, distraction tactics, Derek. Beware something's coming. Arms wide out as if it could be a jab, it could be a low kick. What's it this time? Mate, this time it's a flying knee. Look at the way he puts his hands in front of Derek's face to distract him from what's coming. So at this point, worth noting that Derek can't even see the knee that's going to touch him in his stomach. Well, okay, so he's just missed the target. Thank God for Derek. Flying knee from hell. To the bloody elbow that follows it. This fella is vicious. Softly spoken outside of the octagon, but bloody Nora. Knee to the belly. Vicious elbow after. There's a monster. Good luck, Francis. Derek finds himself literally with his back against the octagon fence. And what's going to happen here? Muay Thai specialist Cyril Gane, of course, is going to get kneed. Bad place to be, Derek. But I empathise with him because I don't think he hasn't got the physical presence. He hasn't got the physicality to get himself out of this position as quickly as he'd need to if he had any hope of winning this fight or winning this round. Another knee. Dangerous knees. And another one for good measure. I reckon that one hurt. They're not the most brutal knees that you've ever seen. But again, accumulation, right? All of these will be taking their toll. 3/5 of the way through the second round, Eric looks laboured to me. I'm not moving with the same spring that he had in the first minutes of the first round, is he? Not quite a sitting duck yet. The explosive movement of the Frenchman, but nearly. You can see the end is nigh here. The octagon, they say, is a very dangerous place to be when you're tired and damaged. And then Cyril gives you one of these. Another one of these. Mate. And you don't check it. And you try to grab it and you miss. Poor Derek Lewis. I wouldn't want to be him in this position. It's all going a bit Pete Tong. So then they go to the fence. And Derek Lewis's face right now, bless him, it is the epitome of what it is to be tied in a UFC, a high level UFC championship fight. And then we get the knees again. It's unrelenting. Cyril's starting to feel it now. He's heating up. He's got a bit of a hot hand, hasn't he? Look what's next. Drops down, shifts Derek Lewis's centre of gravity. And look what's coming next. Surprise. Reverse elbow from hell. Who wants that? A la Yair Rodriguez, right, versus Korean Zombie. Incredible. Who wants that? And then he switched it out again. With a right hand, switched it to an elbow. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Derek was on the end of some serious punishment here. I didn't realise it when I first watched it round, but rewatching the accumulation of the end was nigh. The accumulation of damage that Derek has taken at this point. No one can withstand that. Derek's still dangerous at this point, mind. I say all that. I'm being tired. He's almost most dangerous when he's starting to play possum. So he does the lateral move off to his right, and then look, oh, I'm going to move again. No, I'm not. Comes with the H bomb, the massive right hander. But again, word to Cyril's defensive responsibility. Look, he's seen it coming, and not only has he seen it coming, he's got his left hand high right here, ready to block. This is what makes me know he's going to be a serious contender. When him and Francis do fight, because he takes the defense so seriously, he's so technically sound, his fundamentals are just in place. I think he's a serious contender to beat Francis and John Bone Jones if he wants it. I know for a fact that John Bone Jones will be happy at seeing this because I know he didn't fancy Francis, and he's looking at this thinking, all right, then somebody might go and dethrone Francis, being Cyril, and I might go and fight them, right? Easier fight potentially. I don't know about that, JBJ. I don't know about that, mate. Let's follow this action through. So you ducked under, and then left hook's got to be coming surely. Oh, right hook. Oof. They can miss and make them pay. Cyril gone. At this point, Derek is really tired. He's plodding, whereas he was following with a bit of explosion before. He's kind of breathing. The cardio's been taxed. So I want you to have a look at this. Testament to exactly how tired Derek Lewis is. He throws the jab with a view to throw the right hand. You see his left leg buckle. So I don't think that's necessarily. I think that's an accumulation of the damage from the leg kicks, but also he's just knackered. He's just tired at this point. Taken a lot of damage. He's been very explosive and not hit anything. He's hit nothing but air. He's shattered now. So now Derek's tired. What's next? Hail Mary, surely. Got to do something to get this chap out of there because it's not going to go otherwise. Hey up. Good attempt. Bless him. He tried. He didn't get close. Oh. So, right. So there, Eric, he's seen that from a million miles away. Don't load up the right hand like. Argh. Only Dan Henderson could get away with that. Cyril's too high level not to see this coming. The inevitable, right? He didn't even get close, so he didn't throw it because he knew. Sensible pullback. But what should we be doing here, Derek? Cut the octagon off to no avail. You didn't even try. Maybe because you don't know, or maybe because you were just knackered. But don't do that if you're not going to cut off the octagon. That's not sensible. Note to the UFC production crew: surely get a French translator in it at Cyril's corner. Want to be able to hear what they're saying, mate? That adds to the sauce. Want to hear the tactical discussions, what they're coming out, what their plan is for round 3. Sort it out, Dana. Bouncing on his toes, like it's the first round, eh? Fighting out the southpaw stance, yeah. He's looking to throw a left kick, right, and then he just sacks it off and switches stance. So let me talk to stance switching for a second. So as a boxer, I was taught I'm orthodox, so I need to fight orthodox. Mixed martial arts, this is a really good example of where mixed martial arts has taken on the game. Stuff that Tyson was doing like 20 years ago, or even longer, right, 30 years ago nearly, has now found its way through to high level mixed martial arts. So these guys are able to fight equally well out of either stance, and they're using the transition between stances to confuse their opponents now. So managing distance and then simple little stance switch confuddles the matter even more, right? Especially imagine Derek now, all the other things so low leg kicks, obliques, teeps, bloody straight jab, hooks from all corners, right hand, 1-2 punch, knees, the amount of things that he's got to worry. Now he's got he doesn't know. He doesn't know where the jab or what. It's just daft, mate. good luck fighting this French man. No chance. So here he goes with the arm again as a distraction. He's just always bouncing as well, isn't he? Reminds me a tad of Tito Trinidad, the way he remember Tito always used to be on the ball of his right foot. He always had that left foot cocked, ready to go, right? And there we go, another leg kick. At this point, though, it's just like W2F, mate. I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's coming. Probably even if he did know what's coming, I don't think Derek's the guy. Similar to Connor, I don't think Derek's the guy to be checking kicks. He's not a Muay Thai master, is he? He's a H-bomb thrower like Hendo. So I'm going to break this sequence down. This piece epitomizes the level of confusion that Derek must be feeling. So let's have a look. So again, Cyril, centre of the octagon, of course, stacking the odds in his favour by managing the landscape. Half kick. Okay, so Derek does well. Didn't check it per se, but he gets his leg up to take off some of the sauce off the kick. Oh, faint. Faint followed instantaneously by looping right hand. Incredible. What do you do if you're Derek Lewis here? The dude is too athletic. He's too strategically capable, and the execution of the game plan is just impeccable. What do you do if you're Derek Lewis? Don't ask me. Watch what comes next. To be mindful of the fact that Cyril's cottoned on that he's done some damage here. You can tell that by the way that Derek's picking up his foot already to check in anticipation. So he doesn't like those leg kicks, and clearly Cyril's done some material damage to it. Hence why Derek's trying to anticipate it. So Cyril sees that, shows him what he was looking for. So it's ever so slight leg kick feint with the hips, the same with Adesanya, the one that we talked about before. Derek's bit onto it. He smashed him with a jab. A right hand that's missed ultimately. That is incredible fight IQ. He's picked up on the fact that the leg kicks are killing Derek, feinted one low, and come high with punches. Unbelievably good. Go on then, let's play some Cyril Gane Russian roulette. What's coming next? Let's try and read this one in slow motion. On the toes again. Okay, so bearing in mind he's feinted the leg kick just now and come high. I don't want any more punches if I'm Derek, of course. And that one's got some sauce on it, hasn't it? No more 80%. He's well aware that Derek lacks the mobility to defend these sort of things, or the energy, or the cardio. And so he's starting to put some sauce in it. Just genius. 3:25 left. Round 3. The end is nigh. And Derek's mobility has been seriously compromised. Of course, give him another low leg kick. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. So this is the beginning of the end. You saw how desperately Derek was trying his best to get the leg up to check. When a dude who traditionally isn't necessarily that invested in checking leg kicks is raising hell, trying to do everything he can to get the leg up. That's when you know he's compromised, right? So as Derek's rushing in, watch this. How beautiful is this timing? Oh, just catches him on the way in. Brilliant. So Cyril starting to feel himself. It gets a bit too confident, takes one, but gives one to Derek on the way coming in. I think Cyril's feeling that Derek's power and his energy is dwindling. And so he's more willing to exchange at close range now. Fainting. Let's have a look at this one. Derek bites hard. Now it is DEFCON 5 for Derek. He realizes that he can't eat too many more of these punches or kicks. So he's got no choice. Even though he's wasting energy, he's got no other choice to bite. Survival instincts, right? He had to bite hard as well. 2 minutes and 6 of round 3 left. Hail Marys from Derek. He must, deep inside himself, he must be well aware that his power bar doesn't have much energy left in it. Let's see what Cyril's response is to that. Circles round, takes the centre of the octagon, of course. Of course. Bane's coming high, goes low with a leg kick. So look, Derek can't even stand up straight at this point. Tough watching. I think Cyril at this point, he smells blood and senses the end is near. Backs Derek up once again to the cage. Can't miss love nor money with that jab. Out of the orthodox stance, by the way. Yeah, the end is nigh. So again, so he's gone for the, as wild and as risky as the uppercut is. If there were ever a time to throw one, now might be that time. Derek is finished. He's got no energy left. He's damaged. His mobility from his legs is screwed. Throw the uppercut, right? So Cyril's feeling it, and I think he knows now that the opportunity is there to shut up the likes of Dana White. Oh, you're boring, you don't finish, and get the finish. The 80% punches have gone now. These are H bombs, each and every one. Beginning of the end. Tough to watch. I think if Cyril never got excited, he potentially could have thrown one of those to the body, right? Made his life a little bit easier and brought the end on a bit sooner. Cyril knocks him down, and as Derek's on his way up. Brilliant timing, by the way. You know, there always fighters. I've seen many a fighter get into this stalemate because of the unified rules and no need to a downed opponent. But he waits, switches, and here we go. There's a man. There's the knee from a man that's done a lot of Muay Thai, deep Muay Thai experience. So I think again that's the straw that broke the camel's back for Derek. I think. And then what's Dan doing here? Dan Mergliotta, the genius, stops the action to make sure Derek's got his gum shield in. Of course, Dan, timing any. Why don't you let the action come to a lull first? Cyril's about to get a stoppage. Can you imagine if Derek had gone and knocked out Cyril on the back of this? Referees need to stop getting out their own way and getting out of fighters' ways. Give yourself a bad name for decisions like that, Dan. Timing. Wait for a lull in the action, mate. I'm gonna critique Cyril a little bit here. He does what Stipe Miocic did second time around against Francis Ngannou in that he was nearly there and gets reckless. This, you don't want to be involved in those exchanges. So an uppercut is super risky at the best of times. Again, Derek being Derek, you got to watch out for him. I get it. He's dwindling, but just be careful here. Look at this. This could have ended very different. So he's missed the uppercut. What's coming? Okay. This is what Stipe, key point here. This is exactly what Stipe Miocic didn't do. Hands up at all times. So it looks like what Cyril's done here, that he's drilled in training. He knows that Derek's biggest and baddest punch is his right hand, the looping right hander. Look at Cyril's left arm. Stop defending. It's brilliant. Absolutely sick. We don't see that defensive response or the attention, that level of attention to defensive responsibility. We don't see that very often in mixed martial arts. Hence why, again, citing Lyoto, this could potentially be a long Cyril Gane era. Could be long. Could dominate. I think it's fitting that their final exchange is one where jab from Southpaw stance from Cyril. Hail Mary from Derek, misses by miles, and let's make him miss, make him pay. It's effectively a pull counter and pieces him up with the left hand. Derek's done now. Hammer fist from back mount. These look like they're landing on the back head, but landings really. And that's all she wrote. Cyril Gane, your interim heavyweight champion. Who's going to beat this fella? I'll be Francis or John, right? And even then, good luck with that, mate. I will caveat this performance with the fact that Derek, as a mixed martial artist, if you can call him that, has very clear flaws. He's a very blunt tool, and it is very easy to read him. So whilst this was a brilliant performance, it was against a flawed opponent, if we can say that. Johnny Bones Jones versus Cyril will be a very different proposition because we know how layered the Johnny Bones Jones game is. Francis, let me know where you're going to put your money in that fight because I don't know. Francis carries the H bomb of H bombs, right? But I'm not sure if a drilled Cyril Gane lets him touch him, and much worse, lets him touch him without taking something back. Going to be a good fight. Cyril's ignited the heavyweight division, lit it aflame Unbelievable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Wicked UFC. I'm going to try and break down some of the other fights on the card, but that'll have to come later in the week. Thank you again for watching. I've been Cameron. See you on the next episode. Peace.